Good evening. ഞാൻ അടുത്ത സ്പീഡ് വായിക്കുകയാണ്. എല്ലാവരും റെഡി, നന്നായിട്ട് എഴുതുക കേട്ടോ. I am grateful to the director for having given me this opportunity to address you at this convocation of the institute. This convocation has a special significance as it is being held when the institute has completed 30 years of its existence. It has in this period become a center of excellence and has made a very significant contribution in changing the management practices in India. This is an important occasion in the career of those of you who are graduating from this institute today. I am happy to share in you joy and excitement as you start your journey into the world and into the future with its immense challenges. I hope that the rigorous training that you have undergone here will be fruitfully used wherever you go to work and will help in the country's development. You will be among the very first batch to enter upon your careers in the new economic conditions that we are seeking to create. I need hardly remind you that the world is quite different from the classroom. We look to you, however, to take us with confidence and strength into the new century. In spite of the fact that there should be changes in the practices of the management with the changing economic scene, we should not forget at the same time that the methods that we adopt would have to conform to our traditions and culture. They must be adapted to take into consideration the characteristics of our trade and industry and above all our society. There must be no mechanical application, and we must remember that we inquiry we too have had a long and ancient tradition of economic inquiry, trade and enterprise. We must make use of our strengths suitably modified to fit into present circumstances so that our modern management theories are compatible with our conditions and our genius. When we are able to create our own brand of management best suited to our needs, we will succeed in raising Indian industry more rapidly to the same league as that of major industrialized countries of the world. In the initial stages of our development, we relied more on planned growth with the intention of building up a strong infrastructural base for our industry and rapid expansion of core sectors. This policy did help in giving India large and varied industrial base, a skilled labor force, and a vast army. Ready? Okay, ready. It is my fortune that my pressure of time has permitted me to be amongst you all. I am very proud to say that this institute enjoys a special position among our educational centers. It has intimate connections with the freedom movement. Its graduates have served the nation with devotion all their own and carved out a place for themselves in the people's hearts. This is one of the world's oldest cities, which makes us think what is history and what is civilization. It is regarded as the holiest of the holy cities of the country. It brings to my mind a vision of the dynamic monks of our sacred land. One of them was a weaver by profession, who in this home of brocades taught us that the fabric of India has strands of more than one religion and that gods are woven into the prayers of our people. It also brings to my mind the very fact that the first college of modern education was founded here. I am reminded of a famous social reformer who had come here to study our ancient scriptures in their purity, but he came convinced that this nation could not live by its traditional knowledge alone. It is this realization which made him the first of the moderns. As I contemplate the history of this place, some more faces come before me, and each of them was in a way complementary to the other. One of them proclaimed that man cannot live by modern knowledge alone, but indeed the wisdom that had been discovered and bequeathed by the ancient sages. By a remarkable historical coincidence, the very first gathering of these leading lights of this university had some plain speaking from the father of the nation who had just come back from South Africa. His spectacular achievements there had been hailed, but few realized them that he was to play the same role on the much vaster stage of India. He was still an unknown quantity in India, and so when he spoke of our social responsibility and especially our duty not to display wealth, it caused much resentment. Some were very uncomfortable, but within a year or two, the country was to find itself dominated by this intruder who challenged us to look around and identify ourselves with the poorest and the most oppressed, who told us that if only the people of India. I thank you all for the address of welcome. I am here on my first official visit after assuming office. It is very kind of the people of Madras to show their regard for the office of the president. I think that it is as it should be intended for the office of the president, who is supposed to represent the whole country and to serve all equally. It has been my privilege since I arrived in this city to be the recipient of goodwill and kindness from all. I have no doubt that it is intended to strengthen the position of the head of state so far as the country is concerned. We attained independence only a short time ago. A great deal still remains to be done to make independence full of meaning for everyone who resides in this country. We were engaged in a struggle to achieve freedom for a pretty long time. Even after having attained it, we have been confronted with numerous difficulties. We have faced those difficulties to a considerable extent with success. But that is not enough. A great deal of positive and constructive work is required to make the people happy and prosperous, and to make everyone in this country feel the glow of freedom. I think fighting for independence was not working for the good of the people. While we were engaged in the struggle against a foreign power, we could get the assistance of all classes and groups of people who were in favor of independence. That was one kind of work and had its own rewards. It brought a certain amount of suffering and sacrifice which were borne by one's own choice. A certain amount of publicity also went with that sacrifice. Here in this constructive work, we have a different kind of this to do. No doubt, independence has brought with it many positions which we can occupy now, but which we could not aspire to in the past. We can make ourselves more comfortable and more prosperous. But the man who wants to devote himself to the quiet service of the country has less reward by way of publicity and headlines in newspapers. In fact, this is that the country needs today. We want our big politicians to conduct the affairs of the state. Apart from them, however, we want a large body of workers who will silently and quietly work day and night with the sole objective of servicing the common man. Unless the country can produce a large number of such workers, the real object of winning independence will not be attained. Sir, I am grateful to the honorable members who took part in the budget discussion. I am very glad that they have supported the budget proposals. I am also grateful to those who criticized the budget proposals. I am aware that we are faced with a difficult situation. I know that there are many problems to be solved. I am sure you will agree with me that there are no simple solutions to the problems, and I realize that there can be many other ways and means to solve them. Therefore, when honorable members made many points which were not in agreement with the budget proposals, it is not as if they are not useful suggestions, but I may assure the honorable members that it is only after a full discussion that I have framed the budget. I have had a discussion as much as possible. I do not say that I will always be right with regard to my judgment. Therefore, in the circumstances, the point of view expressed by others is more important than the point of view which agrees with the budget proposals. I would like to make it clear to the honorable members that I shall consider many of the points that have been made in the course of the budget discussion and to whatever do whatever is necessary. Having said that, I would like to say that there was agreement with regard to priorities which we have got to observe in solving the problem of inflation. Many honorable members have said that if the increase of prices goes on in the same manner as it has been going on during the last 2 years, it would be an end of our planning, and it would create many difficulties in the economy as a whole. In view of the same, the government attaches great importance to the problem of inflation. First of all, it should be tackled on the basis of financial discipline, and financial discipline has to be observed in three sectors, namely the central government, the state government, and the various institutions which are attached to these governments. The second is private consumption, where commercial credit is utilized. The third is the black money sector. Unless we tackle all these three sectors, we may not be able to achieve the desired results. As far as financial discipline in the government sector is concerned, the central government will have to set an example. Okay, thank you.